A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back once again to HJN Season 5. So for this instance, what we're going to do is have some more animals worth talking about here, and because I already did opossums and pine martens, it's only sensible that we work on the other 18 that I have planned on. Jackals are what I have up next. This is number 2782 in the series, and well, it's good that I talk about jackals today because there's a lot I will have to say. They are, first of all, members of the Canis family, or canid, species of animals, which also consists of the likes of various dogs, hyenas, wolves, and a few others here and there. The thing about the almighty jackal, though, is that, first of all, they're a bit different in terms of coloration, and also a bit slender in comparison to most others, which are often seen as larger in size or just on the more bulky or muscular ends. So you could say jackals are built a bit differently than most. Also because there's the fox, which is technically more of a canis just as well. Some people might think of them as being similar because they do share similar fur colors and patterns, but they're not. And it's good that I do come around and mention that. Of course, the jackals do have a bit more of a defining features out there, including a somewhat longer face, kind of like with some dog breeds out there. They also do have ears, by which that they are more on the pert side most of the time, and tails aren't exactly as bushy as with the fox. So you could say that unlike the fox, the jackal has stuff that does make it a little more distinctive in comparison. Distinguishable to the point in which that it differentiates from the fox in many ways. If I had to find one good reason to talk about jackals, though, it would be because of their depiction in ancient Egypt. Yeah. Ancient Egypt was in fact a time in which that pharaohs and rule, and often slavery, was as a means of creating those unique monumental pyramids, as well as the almighty Sphinx. So the thing is, what exactly did jackals have to do with them? Well, the thing is, they were deemed as the Anubian species, more akin to that of the gods, that of course would allow the pharaohs to become powerful beings. And it was seen as a religion way back in the day, thousands of years ago, especially for those who might be familiar with King Tutankhamun. His unique tomb, that in which was discovered in the early 1930s, and that little curse that was attached to it, it not only made for a unique movie concept, especially when Universal took it to the screen with Boris Karloff playing the one and only pharaoh known as Imhotep, but in the years since, there has been a lot that we've come to understand about the process of creating mummies, the preservation of the bodies for the afterlife, and about the many treasures that ancient Egypt once held within their tombs, often as a means of keepsakes within the pharaoh's reach. Not only that, but the curse usually was more than just attached to the pharaoh himself or his pet, which in the ways were more of cats or ibises, which were birds. But the thing is that much like the cats and the birds, the Canis species, known as the jackal, found its way into the likes of ancient Egyptian history and lore, mainly because of how popular they've gotten via their incantation of the almighty Anubis. So, you could say that Anubis was quite the icon that allowed the jackal to attain a lot of popularity. And while that jackal is very different compared to the real-life jackal that we have, especially nowadays, in which that they become popular enough to the point in which that they were featured in Save a Fox. Yeah, so the pine marten was not alone, nor was the fox, and nor are the many other animals that they keep around in their Minnesota encampment. But by all accounts, I will say, the jackal does have a lot worth learning about. Not just because of its affiliation with ancient Egypt, but because of many other things as well. So, I do recommend that you read up about jackals at some point, if at all you could do so. Otherwise, there will be a lot more worth for me talking about regarding about animals, so if you want to see more, go down to my channel, along with all the other animals that I plan on doing. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, follow me wherever you can find me, and stay on the Hollywood side for more.